Good morning. It is Thursday, January 11th, 2024. My name is Terry Morgan and we are here to practice Tai Chi. We're going to review part of Yang style Tai Chi, part 1 and part 2. I'm going to cover a little bit, continue this coverage of this is in part 1, it repeats in part 2, here's some of the differences, here's some of the similarities, and address just a little bit some of the unique elements in form. Let's get started. Adjust the camera. Alright, feet about shoulder width apart. Pull up through the back, shoulders down. Basic stretch, arms circle in the front. Back around to both sides, up along the center line. And reach out. We're going to repeat this 6 times. And then we have an inward circle. This goes out, reach out. Arms are moving. Hands are moving, everything's moving. One part moves, all parts move. When one part is still, all parts are still. It's from the Tai Chi Classics. Keep going. Remember to bend the knees as you go over. Roll up through the back, 2 more. And breathe. One more time. Fingertips reach up, elbows drop down, wrists follow the fingertips down. Reach out. Again. Stretch out, reach out, arch through the back as you come up. Use your legs to carry your weight. Breathe. Breathing should be natural and relaxed, full and complete. Extend the breath through the movement. 2 more. Last time. Follow the fingertips down, breathe out, and breathe in. Elbows drop down, wrists, hands return to your sides. Alright, I'm going to stop with these 2 sets for this morning. There are a few more sets that I am going to add into this class so that as we complete the review, all of the sets will have been included, and I'll do one class where I just talk about these warm-up sets. They are part of what I learned when I first started learning Yang style Tai Chi. I was learning from Huang Wei Lun in Miami, and this set, along with the other sets that go with, were things that we practiced at the beginning of class. Every time we had class, there were several times where I found the ability to warm up with just this simple set a great advantage, and it's something that I've kept. The other sets I still practice from time to time. It's part of the learning process that we go through. So I'm going to show you leg set because I'm thinking about it right now. All right, so in Yang Sao Tai Chi, and what I learned again from Huang Weilan, we have this series of stepping methods. Right foot turns out, left foot comes through, transfer the weight, shift, and again, try not to roll to the outside of the foot first. Alright, that stepping method is standard for Yang Sao Tai Chi and is a foundation step for most Tai Chi systems, including Wudang style. That rolling step, this place and roll, entering and leaving, right? That it's figure eight, but I'm talking about that later. That stepping method is, again, it's something that we use in most Tai Chi systems. The sliding step that we use for Bagua is not something that we use in Tai Chi. Another set that we did, because I was thinking about this, is a side step. Okay, and that, I'm on my left, right? Bring this leg up, open it, put it down, transfer the weight, bring the other leg in, and put it down. Now, I'm going to go back the other way. I'm on my right. Bring the left up. Extend. Yeah, I'm shaking a little bit. It's all right. Put it down. All right. That, let me fix that. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. All right. On my right, pick up the left. Extend. Put it down. Transfer the weight. Bring the right up. And put it down. Straight. Alright. What did I just do and what was going on? Alright. As I shifted my weight onto my right leg, I had too much of my weight on my leg. My foot was not well placed. And I was shaking and wobbling because of it. I wasn't pulled up. I wasn't well placed. I had, again, too much weight on the leg instead of over my leg. Right? This is over my leg, this is on my leg. That difference matters. And I wasn't hadn't really warmed up my legs very much. And as I've gotten older, I need to warm up more. It goes with. Alright, so being able to adjust that, what happened? I put more strength into my foot placement so that my foot was much more solid. I used the back of my leg. I bent my knee just a little bit. I don't know if you saw it, but I bent my knee just a little bit. Pulled up through the center here. Right? Pulled up through the center. Shifted more of my weight to the back of my leg instead of trying to support it along the leg. Okay? From here to the back. And I changed my breath so that I was holding more of my weight through my torso and my upper body instead of resting it on my leg. All of that happened. That correction, yeah, left leg is still wobbling a little bit. I get a little bit more warmed up. What happened? I started to fall that way. I shifted my weight to my foot. I did. That I really would like to use my hands for this, but there's really no hand method with this. If they go back here, or where I'm holding them right here. This one is a little bit harder, and it does require staying straight. All right, that extension should be slower. It should be a lot slower. In leg work practice, and various kinds of leg work, right? We have stretching and we have more aggressive, right? So my kick I decide where I'm going to put my foot, and it goes there. More or less. I can still hit my nose if I try. That this level, right? My foot's out. My foot ends up about here, but I can hit this level. That's my leg length, right? That movement is quick. It relies on, same as a slower movement, it relies on balance, placement, position, understanding what you're going to do, and being able to address the use of force when I move more slowly. I have to really pay attention to those balance points, right? Where's the balance? And the stretch that happens, and I'm working that balance on the left side right now. That stretch that happens as we extend the leg should be a stretch, reach, and pull in. And yeah, I was going to go one way or another, so I went that way. That reach is part of what we want in this set. It's not a sharp, we don't want the sharp kick, not with this set. Right? That principle, extend, is something that we use throughout the form. Okay? There's traditional Yang style Taiji form. It's common to all Tai Chi systems that extend and move quietly with the whole body is part of is part of every Tai Chi system. The way that we manage those movements is different. Feet together, stand straight, salute. First part, and I'm going to go quick. Not too fast, but not too slow either. Right? This is opening at the very beginning, and I talked about this last week. This whole series repeats at the beginning of part 2. Brush knee. We see brush knee and hand strum the lute repeatedly. And I'm going to understep here and step back so that I don't hit the wall. Punch down, deflect downward, parry and punch. Close the door. Crossing hands. Part 2. Pull down, press, push, from the beginning, right? This is different. Push back the monkey, hold ball, and brush knee. Needle at C bottom, fan through the back. As we move through the sets, and I'm going to go back and slow this down again. As we move through the sets, one of the things that I'm emphasizing in this series is this whole idea, this whole connection with the repetitions and new movements. So we're at the beginning of part 2, crossing hands, turn, brush knee, grasp the bird's tail, ward off, roll back, press and push right here. In the first part, I'm facing this way, straight line, and I'm going to turn around 180 and go the other way, single whip. Part 2, I'm on the 45. I'm going to turn around to fist under the elbow. The heel is up, the fist is literally under the elbow. That's the name of the move, right? So, as I do that, I'm now back on a straight line. I'm now back on that line that I was on. I'm not on the 45 anymore. I'm not going to the 45. When I turn to that line. So, I'm going to turn around and do this in a minute. Right here, turn. Right here. Not doing single whip. All right. That difference is something that we want to work with, we want to pay attention to, and we want to develop as we're practicing. If we pay attention to the repetitions, we gain the advantage of understanding why we're doing this move. Brush knee. This has push. This has ward off. Entering and leaving. Right? Fundamental. It's a fundamental move. Fist under the elbow happens once. It happens once. In the form. We're doing this. Here. It's a good move. Something's wrong with that. Found it. I left out a move. I did. Here. Come around. Right? Push. Both hands. Excuse me. Both hands push to one side. That's the move. That's the name of the move. As we... Alright, here. Turn the foot. Come around. Fist under the elbow. That missing movement. Why was it missing? I forgot. I was thinking about single whip. And I was paying attention to what I would do in single whip. But I shouldn't be. Just different move, right? That's what I should have been paying attention to. But I wasn't. So I left it out. And I tried to do the turn. It didn't work. It didn't feel right. That is absolutely something that I hope everybody that looks at anything that I'm doing learns. It doesn't feel right. What am I doing or not doing that I should be doing so that it would feel right? Part of that comes from practice. Over and over, you get the repetition, and then you get a repetition, it doesn't feel right. What do I do? That sense of, wait a minute, something's not quite what it should be, is absolutely something that we have to listen for in our own practice, in our own movements. If we practice, and this goes to, I'm going to do a couple things here in a minute. The facility, the ability to go to a class and join a group and practice in a group reinforces what the group is doing. Okay? This is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. When I went to class in China and I was practicing with a group of people and what they were doing reinforced what I was doing. I looked at what they were doing, did lots of corrections, lots of things that I needed a little bit more work on, some things that I was doing just fine, not a problem. And as I went through that process of practicing with a group, I learned a great deal. It's a good thing. When you practice on your own, you learn what you do. It's not what everybody else is doing. You're the only one in the room. It's your practice. What do you do? Being able to sense, feel, however you want to say it, no, wait, that doesn't feel right. Something's off. Is fundamental to what we want to do in practice. I'm going to start over here. Crossing hands. You see my shift going this way? Got way too much of my weight on my left leg. I should be much more centered here. This has palm, ward off. Also has press. There's application here. Yes, there is. Alright. As I turn, pull down, slice. This in, comes around. And turns over. As I step, brush knee. Right hand comes across, left hand comes under. Pull down, press, and push. Both palms flat, the same as in part one. Turn the toes. Palms out. On the toe, on the heel. This hand turns out. Bring the arm around. This sweeps around. Right hand begins to hold the fist. Step. Fist under the elbow. Reach out at your ear. Step back. And again. One more time. Hold ball. Step out and behind. Diagonal flying. Both hands drop down. Raise your hands. White crane spreads its wings. Brush knee. Step up. Needle at C bottom. Fan through the back. Each movement, and I'm going to stop for there for today. Each movement should have that quality of open, contained, right? It's not random movement. It's controlled, regular. Everything's moving all together, all at the same time, with the breath, with the idea that there is applications. There are applications. There is an application, there are applications. It's a multi-thing, right? The brush knee, step in, entering, that's an application, it is. Jimbo, table, step in, ward off. This hand sweeps around, ward off. I could do something else with my hand here, right? But the fundamental application in this movement is ward off. Go away. Get out of here. Leave. Right? That's ward off. And it's not press. Okay? It's not intended to hold. It's intended to move out of the way. That I could use. I could hold. Not really. I could. I wouldn't, but I could. Right? This hand over here. Push. It could use ward off. This could use ward off. But in this movement, not really. It really is push. Now, what am I going to push? Uh-huh. What's my target when I practice? My target when I practice is right here. Just below my ribs, so that as I push, I could catch the ribs and push something, right? That effort, push, has movement behind it, it has force behind it, it has the full connection through the body. This is not push. This is not push. And this is not. No. 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 That's a dance move. That's a, yeah, I don't know, but that's not push. Okay, now, having said that, I could do this. It's not Tai Chi, but I could do that. I could. It's a back kick and a forward push. Palm strike. It's not really push. Palm strike. I'm gonna hit you. You're going. And you're going too. That separation requires centering, right? The same as push. I still have to be centered. This leg doesn't come up, it goes down. I use it as I push through, as I extend. That's that extension that I was talking about back here, where you want to extend the leg. Yeah, I gotta work on that. Oh, there it is. That's better. Pull up out of the hip, support the torso, straighten the leg, keep the knee relaxed. It's not bent here. Could be. I can work this. Works really well too. If I want to develop my extension and my strength at this level, that's where I have to work. In most of our extensions, we're not using a bent knee to support the body. As the other leg goes up, most of the time the standing leg is standing. So as we practice, we want to cultivate that, as opposed to, let me see, you know, I can bend this one and I can bring this one up and I can do, right? That strength isn't bad. It's not something that you want to use. You could do it. I would, you know, it's fine. It's not what I'm working on right now. Right? So I'm here, bring this up, and it's, yeah. It does take work, it does. Here, and then put it down. And bring this around. Alright? Here. That feels better. I still want to be up here. Alright, do both. Do both. Asking yourself questions how's it feel, what am I doing, is part of what you want to develop in practice. So if I wasn't presenting, right, a lot of the things that I've just talked about would still be part of my thought process. I would still be thinking about them. I would still be paying attention to, well, yeah, I need to pull up a little bit more through my back, and yeah, I'm still being kind of lazy through that hip, so I need to work on this. Right? Just bring the knee up and hold it. And then put it down. And I need to do that to the side as well. That holding strength is what will give me that extension. It has to be redeveloped. Knowing that matters. So when I'm practicing on my own, I think about these things. This is part of what I do. Well, okay, what's going on here? All right, that's fine. Yeah, everything's good. I'm happy with that for today. I'm good. Now what? When I'm teaching, part of my own practice is what I'm trying to record. That effort, that inner voice. I'm telling myself, hey, no, that wasn't so good. Try it again. That process of how I develop my skills is absolutely something that I really want to share with others, because too often that development is limited by both the lack of understanding and the idea that, well, I need to go to class and learn that. You might need to go to class and learn that. You might practice more and gain the insight to what you're doing that you might not get if all you're doing is going to class. That thought process of how do I practice, what do I practice, what am I doing, how do I think about what I'm doing, how do I do this? How do I do this? Not my classmates, not my teacher. How do I do this? That is something that I've learned, and it's a foundation for anything, and any of the martial arts that I practice for sure, anything else as well. That sense of, this is what I can do. This is something that I've learned already. This is something more that I could learn. This is where I've been, this is where I'm going, right? That whole process. I'm going to do this from, crossing hands. In Yang style Tai Chi, right? We're paying attention to a series of movements that take us from one point to another, right? Start at the beginning, and then we go, and then we come back, and then we go again, and then we come back, and then we go again, and then we come back, and then we go and we stop at the same point that we started. Supposed to. You should. Feet back, shoulder width apart, crossing hands. Turn. Grasp the bird's tail. Ward off, roll back, press, and push. Use the back leg and turn. Turn the foot. 2 hands, press out. Turn around, fist under the elbow. Push back the monkey. 1, 2, 3. Hold the ball. Diagonal fly. Raise your hand. White crane spreads its wings. Brush knee. Step up. Knee lid C bonnet. Fan through the back. Alright. That series. Right? Notice what repeats from the beginning. Ward off. Right? Ward off, roll back, press and push. This whole series repeats. Single whip. Okay? Right? We're on that same line. Raise your hands. White crane spreads its wings. Brush knee. This whole sequence repeats more than once. We see it 5 times, 6 times, I think. 5. I'm gonna go with 5 for right now. I may be more. I'll count later. We see it at the beginning. We see it at the beginning of part 2. We see it in the middle of part 2. We see it 2 more times. 2 more times in part 3 that I'm sure of, and I think it's, it's 2 more. So 5 times. Ward off, roll back, press, and push. These are the 5 cardinal directions. North, south, east, and west. As we pay attention to these fundamental movements in Tai Chi. Ward off, roll back, press, and push. Slice, twist, slice, twist down. Joe is the elbow, and the coat is the hip. That also is close. So that sequence, that was Silent Joko. That sequence, along with, and this is Pang, Yu, Ji, and from Yang Sao Tai Chi, that sequence of movement is fundamental. We see it 5 times in the form. Brush knee, ward off, push. Fundamental movements. That approach to what we're doing in the form is something that I had to learn. Took me a while. The original approach that I had was to pay attention to each movement. I still do that. It's still important. It has to be done. Each movement, brush knee, what am I doing here? What am I physically doing in this movement? When I think about application, right, what might I be doing physically? Well, opponent comes at me, opponent tries to kick me, I step in, move the leg out of the way, and strike. Push. That sequence. Okay, that's an application, right? My application is I'm going to step, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. That's the application. That's not the application. That's not the application. Ward off. I could cover all of this with ward off. In brush knee, I'm here, around the knee, that's the point. Lo xi elbow. Brush knee, twist step. Lo xi. Oh, that entering, right? That concept. If I think about that instead of, I'm going to put my foot in front. If I think about entering instead, what is entering? What is leaving? I'm moving forward. I'm going to enter. Here I go. I'm going this way. I'm leaving. I'm going this way. I can leave and go this way. Right? That concept, entering and leaving. Ward off. My internal workmanship, Nagel gives me ward off. It's not the movement. That idea. It's not just my hand coming around here. This is not just let me swat some flies over here. Right? It's not. That same idea with the other hand, that it's not just my hand going to poke at something out here. I'm not looking for the cookies. Right? It's push. Extend through. Not slap at. That difference makes a huge difference in the way that we practice and the way that we approach practice. So that extended movement that I was talking about, extend through the movement. Everything works together so that the movement is full and complete along with the breath. I haven't talked a lot about the breath yet. Other than it needs to be natural, it needs to be full, and it needs to be complete. If we're moving slowly, chi is breathe out, who is breathe in. Chi, ho, chi, ho, chi, You get the idea. That full, even, complete, connected through the movement with the whole body breathing in a natural, relaxed manner. I've worked at that. I can do some of it. I can slow it down, and then I need to not. I'm not going to sing this time. That slow, relaxed, In the first case, you can hear my breath with the notes, the sound, and connect that with the movement. In the second one I just did, I slowed my breath a little bit more and paid just a little more attention to opening through and extending through the whole body. That, yeah, I needed to not be talking while I was doing that. So that's something else that we should pay attention to, and I'm only going to mention a little bit. The idea that being verbal and paying attention to all of the things that we're paying attention to is sometimes it can be quite a lot. So part of what we want to develop is that practice that gives us all of those fundamentals so that we don't have to think about it. Right? I set my back and my knees, and I don't really have to think about much else because I've developed a habit of pulling up through the center as I sink. I don't have to think about it anymore. I did have to think about it for quite a while. I don't have to think about it all the time. I do have to pay attention to it. That is what we want to develop, so that when I settle my weight to begin, I have a habit of relaxing my upper back, pulling up through the center, extending the whole arm, bring the foot through. That's a little more than I needed to do. Okay, I didn't need to bring my foot up that high. All right. Sink the weight to press and sink as you set back. Those habits are something that I did have to work on, and now I can use them. I don't have to pay attention to that. Instead, I can pay attention to where's my body placement, where's my center of gravity, where is my breath, where is my center of force, where can I use, what can I extend, how can I extend, what can I do in this movement that would allow me, doesn't have to be right now, but would allow me to extend force. I can't do very much in this direction from this posture. I can do some, not much. I can do a lot more here. Right? Where's my foot? Where's my arm? Where's my body? Where is the balance point that allows me to do something? Finding that. Where's my foot? Where does my foot go? Well, it's not really my foot, it's my leg. The leg's gone. Where's my hip? If my hips are here, they are, okay? My foot doesn't go here when I step. My foot goes here. From the hip. Same thing on the other side, right? That little bit of difference. Not thinking about moving my foot so much as I am thinking about moving my leg and putting my foot. Leg's going, where am I going to put my foot? I haven't figured it out yet. Put it over here, simple. Put it over here. No, put it over here. Right? Where am I going to put my foot? Well, set it right here. That idea that I have the coordination through the body, right? Here's my hip. Hip's not over here, right? Unless my leg's going out to the side, my hip stays. My foot here, I'm sideways. I can use my shoulder. I can use my elbow. I can. I'm not as strong as I would be if I was in a more regular stance. This is Xingyi. Taiji. That placement, position, developing the habit. Correct habit, needs to be correct. Developing a habit so that you don't have to pay attention to this particular thing all the time, and you can pay attention to the quality of the movement, the connection with the breath, timing for the movement, how we move through each move, the connections that we create between the movements, and the connections that we create through the form. How the form reinforces fundamentals that are part of Tai Chi, in particular the 4 primary directions: north, south, east, and west, Pang, Lu, Ji, Han, ward off, roll back, press, and push. That reinforcement is something that the form teaches us. The creator of the form, Yang Cheng Fu, created Yang Sao Tai Chi. He put it in. It was part of that development of how this form works, how the system works. And it gives us a lot of insight that sometimes is overlooked. Well, that's just another repetition. It's there for a reason. I appreciate all of you being here today. I will be back tomorrow with Wudang Qigong, set 3. Yan Fei Gong, the wild goose flying. I'll be back next week with Xingyi on Wednesday, Tai Chi again on Thursday, and Qigong again on Friday. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.